Guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit, and we're gonna try something this year. We're gonna try Vlogmas. I know everyone is doing that right now, and I think that a lot of people do enjoy that, so we're gonna try our best. I'm starting a day late, but that means you guys are gonna get 24 videos in a row as long as I don't fail you. So I'm out here. You can tell we got a crap ton of snow, and I'm just pulling up for today. Chase is getting the car out for Royce. He's coming to pick up his STI today, 06 STI that we just got all finished up. It's tuned and on a 6870 on one of our Sage X lawn blocks, just a simple pump gas tune. So I'm getting that thing pulled out today because, like I said, we just got a bunch of snow, so he hasn't been able to come get it. Finally, the roads are starting to clear up, so he can come grab his car. And so yeah, we got to get out. Chase is gonna be pretty excited about this. He's been on me about trying to get videos out for you guys, so I think he's gonna be pretty on board. Some updates with him before I get out there is he sold his red Honda that some of you may have seen, and that was to fund his K-Swap STI build. So I know there's gonna be stuff coming along for that. We were hoping to send it off to Fab today, but he needs a couple more parts, but he's got to do daily. Maybe we'll show what he's got. Let's go ahead and throw this in his face. Oh, good morning, pal.
I got something for you.
You got something for me? Are you allowed to show it on camera? Money.
Money.
Damn, that's for his K-Swap STI.
And I stole your card yesterday, yeah, so I gotta get that back.
So really, it's just my money that he gave me out of my account.
Yeah, it's out of his account. It's not mine. I'm too broke.
All right, well, I'm gonna grab the shovel and start getting this car out. Damn, you've been the shoveling man. Yeah. We got a good amount to go to. At least it hasn't been driven on.
Yeah, well, the gate doesn't like to be unlocked when it's cold either, so we'll be right back.
Hard worker.
Hardly working.
That's me. Now, no, I shoveled at least like a third of this. That was not fun. So, yeah. Car's all shoveled out. Gonna let it warm up for a bit. And we got some other stuff to do today. Got my coffee. Fucking cold. Alright, let's show them what you gotta do today.
Show what I gotta do today?
Yep. Well, we'll show you in a moment. Yeah, as we walk over, we're gonna be tuning that 06 WX here. Full STI drivetrain swap. Built motor. FP red. That'll be a fun one. So I'm gonna be doing that. I think I have 3 cars that we have to tune today, so it's gonna be a busy day for me, busy day for Chase. He's got to get first startup done on a all new build. Has one of our stage 4 lawn blocks in the car, and it has an FP0 on it. Beautiful car. All right, now we're looking much better in here. 07 STI we just finished up a build on. This has a rotated 3076 on it. It will be coming back to do a larger turbo kit in the future, but he's just trying to break in his new motor. Here's a beautiful car. Nico's nice, beautiful color here. This is not a factory color, guys. It's not a wrap. Definitely a very pretty car. You want to open up the hood, Chase? It should be already open. Just doesn't stay up. Beautiful. ETS front mount, titanium piping, process West, all the goodies. Pretty excited about this one. So
yeah, I'm ready for first startup today.
Chase needs to wire in a fuel system. That's what you're seeing right here, the radium
double pump hanger
wire kit. So he's doing that. I think that's it, and then we just need to obviously get the radiator in. It was missing the timing guides on the timing belt, so on the corners there's no guides, so we got to get those on and put the radiator in. And this thing will be getting ready for first startup. Like I said, the 07's in here. Hyper Blue is in here. You guys may have seen that this thing is running again. Vlogmas may force me to put it on the channel, but I don't really want to. You guys will just see it in the background. I've just been keeping the car under wraps for quite a while now, and what's done to it, and teasing you with some poles, the hood shut. I think I'm still gonna continue that route.
Yeah, I think you guys are gonna just have to wait until you guys see some street hits but
she's fast. We're supposed to get our track back, so that's another partial reason why I put the car together, and because I just want to enjoy it. Like, I haven't seen the car like this in so long, guys. Like,
bone stock,
interior all complete, everything back together in the car. Like, I haven't seen it like this. Always the car is full of parts and pieces inside of it because it hasn't ran for a long time.
For all the
and especially
it ain't a street car, it has full interior. Yeah,
there she is though. So maybe, like I said, we might be forced to, but for now I'll keep it in the background. I'll show you guys on this car today. For hopefully we have to get first startup today, because with the weather and the passes, he said this weekend's the only time he can come up. So we need to get this car done today, so I'm gonna have him get going on this thing right away in the morning. I should be hopefully getting started by around lunchtime. Yep. This car, I just need to put a break-in tune on it today. This is gonna be one of those cars I have to do a tune, so I just need to put the break-in tune on this car, and then that one will be going back home. So nothing too crazy with that one. That's the other car I need to tune today. That's just gonna be a simple break-in tune, and then the one that we have on the dyno is the full power tune for today. So I'll show you guys some pulls on that, probably record some things, and we'll kind of go from there. So you ready to get started for today?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get to it. All right, guys, I was just letting this thing warm up. As you saw, it's pretty cold out here. And another tip for you guys for this colder weather, and I'll shut this car off so you can hear me, is just because your coolant temp gauge says your car is warm, does not mean that your oil in the car is warm enough to go do pulls or rip on it. So just make sure in this cold weather, guys, that you are allowing your car to warm up properly before you start doing pulls. A good investment, guys, is obviously to have an oil pressure gauge and an oil temp gauge, especially in a Subaru. Oil temp is like the main thing that hurts these cars. Not saying that it's from the cold temp of the oil, which obviously would not be good for it, but being too hot even is a problem. So just a little tip for you guys in this colder weather: make sure to drive your car for a bit, and just because it says your coolant temp's 180 degrees doesn't mean your oil is 180 degrees. So here we are. Let me put the hood prop up on this thing. Ugh. This car is really nice, guys. You really don't see them like this anymore. This is the 06 WRX, full STI 6-speed drivetrain swap, Brembos, and some beautiful powder coating underneath the hood. This does have a built engine, as I mentioned. I can't remember if it's stock heads or cams. I'd have to take a look at my file to see what I saved it as. To be honest with you, we tune so many cars I can't always remember. So let's go over the quick basics of this car. Like I said, I believe it's a piston rod motor. I'm pretty certain it's a stock head motor. So it just fresh rebuilt heads. It does have a FP red. Not probably my choice of a turbo. You guys know we're a huge supporter of FP turbos over here. FP red is kind of left behind times, guys. What I have found personally is that the green makes very comparable power to the red anymore, and it outspools it. So we'll see how this one does today. Generally what I see from a green, a red, and a black, etc., around 400 on pump gas, and then we'll see, you know, maybe around, it should be make around 500 on E. We'll kind of see how things go. The last one of these I tuned was on a built motor, FP red, and I really had to push it to get the 500 number. I mean, we're talking like 30 pounds or 32 pounds, pretty all in on the turbo, just to get it to hit it and make a number for the customer. So like I said, kind of an outdated turbo. I already let him know. I would definitely recommend switching or upgrading this to a black in the future if he wants to stick with stock location. I think he has talked about doing rotated in the future. So we just installed a set of ID 1300s in this car. It had a set of 1050s prior. He was originally going to just use pump gas and methanol. I advised him that I really wouldn't recommend the methanol route. We've had a lot of experience in the past because us too did not have access to E85 up here before, and now we do, so it makes things a lot easier. But we definitely have ventured through methanol, guys, and I've had a lot of issues in the past of it. Now keep in mind, this was back in what, 2015, you know, quite some time ago. But I still would recommend against it, especially if you have access to good fuel, E85, you know, even C16, Q16, so forth. You know, if you have access to a better fuel, go that route, guys. So we went ahead and went away from the methanol kit in the car, and what we have is we're going to do pump gas and then do E85. So we have dual maps for this car. So like I said, pretty simplistic setup. It does have a set of Perrin V1 headers on it. It looks like an engine intake, aftermarket radiator, front mount on it, you know, the basics. But gonna go ahead and get ready. Like I said, I'd like to see around 400 on pump gas out of this thing. That's usually what I see. And then from there we'll go on. One thing to take note, guys, I am making the decision to change back on our dyno to Mustang numbers. With a lot of the drama, we've already proved ourselves, I feel, and we've already showed a lot of trap speeds. Seems like there's a lot of, you know, females out there that want to complain about the dyno, or where it doesn't cross at the right RPM, because we have our correction on our Mustang dyno for the 13%, which I've been very transparent with you guys and always told you about. I don't want to go in too much depth to ruin this video, but what I'm telling you is I am switching back to our Mustang numbers, and not only our Mustang numbers, I'm picking the lowest one on the screen. So what I'm going to probably see from this car is 350 to 370 in that range, Mustang on pump gas, and then E will probably see like 420 to 450. That would be my guess. So I don't want to hear any complaints about the lower numbers on the dyno. You know, it seems like we get them both ways. We get the people that complain your numbers are too low for the boost you're at. You get the people that complain that we use a correction on our dyno to hit what we say is close to dyno jet. So in the end, I just want to see the customers happy, guys. A number is a number. Fortunately, this industry is driven by numbers, so being a business, it makes more sense to give the customer the number they want. But we have a tool, and that's what this is for. This dyno is a tool. It's not a number generator, but it does give you a number. So like I said, we're going to pick the lowest number on the screen from here on out, and that is what it is, guys. So if you want to complain about it, go ahead. But in the end, if you want to see what that number is with our dyno jet correction, just add 13% to the number, and I'll get you to where we were before. So like I said, gonna get set up and we're gonna get going. All right, you're gonna hear the compressor in the background. Went ahead and started to tip into this thing, and I'm only getting about 4 pounds of boost. He said the wastegate's supposed to be 17 PSI. So what I got here is a fancy dancy boost leak tester. Normally you do this before we get it on the dyno, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Also, this car, like I said, has STI drivetrain swap, and I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see, but the drive shaft is aftermarket, and right up there, you might be able to see, it's got a line in it, and I can definitely hear a noise when I'm on the dyno. So I let Brant know about this noise and this issue. He said that they've had it before, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the car off the dyno, and he gave me permission to kind of clearance in there, which means we're gonna have to bend or move that rear front upper subframe out of the way. Sometimes this is common on the aftermarket drive shafts, where it makes it almost harder than it should be. I told him that this car, normally I would just put a OEM drive shaft in it, but when he bought the swap, obviously he needed a new drive shaft, and this is what came of it. So we're gonna try to make do with what we got. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing hooked up for a boost leak test right now, and see if we can find any issues with a leak. And hopefully it's not gonna be where I gotta change the spring on a wastegate, which I don't think anyone's gonna put a 4 PSI spring in a gate on a Subaru. That's maybe a Honda, not on a Subaru. So let's go ahead, get some tools, and boost leak test this thing. All right, so we got our boost leak tester here, showing we get up to about 5 PSI before you can hear. You want to move that inner core pipe around, Chase? So you definitely got a leak over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing pulled off the dyno right now, because like I said, for the drive shaft, and then we're gonna have to address it. So we're going to pull the bumper, go through all the intercooler system, and see what's going on.
Just have to close my eyes and there you are.
got the other car in the other shop. Chase is gonna go ahead and continue with the boost leaks. Looks like all the intercooler clamps were really loose, so he went ahead and tightened all those up. He's gonna get a new front O2 installed in the car, because right when I went to go tune the car this morning, it just completely shut off, wasn't working. So we went ahead and got a brand new Denso front O2 for it. He's gonna get that put in. He's gonna clearance for the drive shaft. Have to figure something out for that. Right now I got Carlos's 07 STI on the dyno. Like I told you guys, this has a brand new motor. This one he went with an IAG Stage 4 Extreme. He has a set of our Stage 3 BBR heads, 280 camshafts. It's a pair and rotated kit with a 30R on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get a break-in tune on this thing, so that way he can have a safe break-in tune for getting the motor miles on the motor, and then he plans on changing the setup later. He wants to go to like a 6870 on the car, one of our custom rotated kits. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing strapped on the dyno. Not really do anything too crazy, just literally go through, make sure drivability is good. I'll be putting a Reveler at 4 to 4500 on the car, and that's where it'll live for braking. So it should be pretty quick. I'm gonna get the car strapped on right now and do it.
Alrighty, so Josh threw the camera at me because he's over on the dyno, but I'm going to show you guys how to install a radium double pumper with the hardline install. So I've already previously ran the wires from inside the cab. I already have everything tucked back, but it goes through here. Then I decided to run it through underneath the transmission side right there first, because it actually gives me a lot more wire to work with back when I go back there instead of going on the driver's side. But you find this little grommet on the inside over here and just run the rest of your power wire. I typically go with the black. It cleans up the engine bay so you don't have red wire sticking out. But brought it through there, tucked it all along here, and then popped out these wires. So you have your power source, and then those are the grounds. But typically all you have to do is you have to cut off this main connector, which kind of sucks, because if you want to revert the car back to stock, I mean, you have at least a little bit of wire to play with, but I typically cut it around 2-3 inches just to, if you need to. But you are going to be using the green and yellow wire for your power, and then actually that's going to be your trigger wire, and then you're going to have your blue and your brown wire are going to be for your fuel level. And so let me show you guys on how to install the rest of this. Alrighty, so I got a little sidetracked. I just went ahead and took care of everything right now. So all I did, pretty much, I'll explain it as best as I can. So you have your power wire that comes from your battery that goes through the dash, in through underneath the center, and then through. And so I went ahead, attached those, and then I sent my power wire through. I ended up adapting it through here just so I can attempt to put it on the positive of the pump on each one. Make sure you go ahead and put your little piece so it can cover, but make sure when you're doing that you already have everything set out, just so you don't mix anything up or put a wrong wire to the wrong wire. So I just went ahead, did everything one at a time, put my positive on, then I went through my negatives. So for my negatives, I routed them through the same grommet. They were already routed before, so I just ended up putting my relays onto it, ended up putting it to this ground here, got nice there. Make sure you heat shrink it all. I go ahead and I electrical tape it all. But then you want your main wire for your for the relay to kick on. Will go to this green and yellow wire on the stock hanger. So make sure you cut off this main piece right here. And when you do that, your blue wires that come off your relay will go to that green and yellow wire, and that will be your pretty much your trigger wire, and that will go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. You're not going to be using that green and red wire, but you will be using the blue and brown, and the blue and brown will be as your level. They have no polarity, so you can put them on either way. And so, but that is pretty much, this is the easiest way to explain it, is just pretty much take it step by step, and then you can get pretty much all the way through. Bam. So unfortunately, the customer didn't send us with a rear seat. So I did the best I could. It's kind of a little tough to sit both relays under there. So this one was just gonna have to be off to the side. It can either sit like that, or you can bring it in this way. I try making them both fit underneath just because it's more pleasing that way. But the seat does not hit it, and so you can route them just like that, or you can end up tucking it under there so it can be hidden away. But if he didn't bring us the seat, he also didn't bring us the screws, so that can just sit on top of there until he comes to pick up the car. But other than that, this car is pretty much all wrapped up for the fuel system in this thing. Everything is back together and everything's routed perfectly. It might be a little dark in there so you can't see it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up with the fuel system. I'm going to go ahead and put these relays right onto the glove or onto the fuse panel. Just tuck these wires away, but let me get these guys electrical taped before I even start, because those would look pretty ugly in this engine bay for right now.
All right, you're getting a bit of a mixture today. So while Chase was working on that car and showing you guys some really good, useful information, I've been tuning Brant's car in the background, and we got this thing back on the dyno, drive shaft, clearance. It was actually hitting the body, not the front subframe. So we had to remove the drive shaft. Brant gave me permission to go ahead and have Chase clearance it, which means yes, hammer up on the top of the body there where the drive shaft goes through so it doesn't hit anymore. We put a new front O2 sensor on it, and then we put our tuning wideband in it. For some reason our dyno wideband had take a crap a while back, so we have an AEM that we like to put in the cars and use, and that's what I use to see what we're doing for air fuel. So just finishing up, did the last pull here. I'm going to do one more for you guys. Car made really solid power. FP Red guys, 24 PSI on pump gas, made 381 and 390. These are the Mustang numbers, guys. Damn, look at that beautiful ground. There's the numbers. So, like I said, I'm going off the lowest number there is. There it is. So, I'm going to go ahead, set you guys up, do one more pull, and then it's E85 time for this car, and we can really party. Finished up a pump gas. I'm going to go ahead and get the fuel switched in this car to E85, and to do so we just need to go ahead and put a line off the turn on our regulator here. Very easy for any of you to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, get the fuel out of here, build the map for E, and we'll get into party mode. I may have to add more wastegate duty, but let's go ahead and see what it does. Up the wastegate duty pretty much all in at this point. We got about another 15%, but I don't think it's going to do too much. I bumped the target up to 28 pounds. Like I said, we'll see what it does. I don't think it's going to touch it. I think we're going to be lucky if we get 26, maybe 27 out of it, but let's see what this pull does. Figured that was going to be the end result, guys. I bumped it up. We went up another 20% than where I was, and didn't get us anything. It literally was 24.8 pounds, right at the same power, 430, 421. Beautiful graph. That's just what it is, guys. You know, that's what the setup wants. There's no reason to leave it at that. I'm going to bump it back down to about, you know, that 60% wastegate duty where I was instead of the 80 I'm at right now. It's just not responding from it. That's kind of the end result of these FP Reds, guys. They don't make the power. They're kind of an outdated turbo. If I had got a hold of this customer prior, I would have definitely told him to get a black. If he black, we'd be making 500 Mustang right now. So definitely a little bit of a letdown. I wanted more power out of it for him, but in the end, that's a good bump. We went from 380 to 430, so we got a 50 wheel bump. We got a considerable bump on torque as well. Looks like we got about a 50 wheel bump on torque too, maybe 40, and that's just what it is, guys. It's a lot safer fuel, a lot better fuel. I think that he's probably going to end up running the same most of the time on pump gas, because he said it's not very available to him to get the 85 and having 50 wheel gain. He's probably going to run it on the pump gas for the most part, but we definitely gave it our all. We gave it our try. Hopefully he'll be back in the future. We'll get him to a bigger turbo. If you can't tell, it is freaking cold out here. It's like in the teens. It's pretty damn cold. It's boost weather, so dang it, I want more. Well, didn't quite get to where I wanted to today, but I didn't show you as much of this one. This one we got the brake and tune all done on that car. We did get the other car all done and tuned. Chase worked hard on this car today. As you guys saw, this thing is all ready to go. We just did first prime of the oil system and fuel system. It does need some fuel in it. This customer drained his tank before it came in, so we're gonna have to pick up some fuel in the morning, and we just have to hook up some vacuum lines, and this thing can do its first start, get its brake and tune, and this will be done. So that's gonna wrap up today. Definitely a long day. Another, see what it is, 13-hour day, and we gotta go edit this now. So let's go do that. Later, part-timer.
See ya.
Living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane. Pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground. Living life up in the fast lane. Life, though you lemons, you just put them in Coronas, Coronas, Coronas. I've been working, I need that advance with the bonus, the bonus, the bonus. Ain't no thoughts about tomorrow, I'm just living in the moment, the moment, the moment. Full tank of gas and 200 on the dash, bitch, I'm zoning, I'm zoning, I'm zoning. Fast lane, living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't Living life up in the fast lane. Pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground, pedal to the ground. Living